not a man with a man and a woman with a woman. So right there is my position. Right there.
You're against it?
Totally.
Good.
Totally.
Yeah. Now, do you believe that, you know, the Royal Gazette had a poll some time ago, and in that poll it was right about 50-50 in terms of people who were for it and people who were against it. Do you believe that a push will come from the community for the government, whatever government happens to be in power, to really seriously consider same-sex marriage, a bill for same-sex marriage? Because as we look around the world, as we look at the United States, our closest neighbor, that seems to be coming in effect in many states. So do you see a push from some section of our community pushing for that?
Let me say it like this. At the expense of destroying our social fiber, yeah, our most sacred institution is the family, if I can say that. With the way the pride of life regarding self-centeredness is sweeping across Bermuda, only time, and I say this seriously, Bermuda, only time and weak, and you can underscore weak politicians who would defend an argument that includes this type of behavior. I'm not for that. Totally not for that. I mean, those people have already been damned. And you can take that to the bank.
Homosexuals?
And those people who support that type of behavior
Have been damned.
Of course. It's just a matter of time. You know, I'm not in support of that. Not even two dogs get together and do the types of things that these people are alleged to be liking and doing.
In your experience, in your opinion, is homosexuality a choice or is it a fact of nature?
I think it's a choice. I mean, God gives us all He makes us all a free will agent, if you will. And everyone has the choice to either ride or drive on the right side of the road or the wrong side of the road. It's your choice. If you drive on the wrong side of the road and you get in an accident, you may die. It's as simple as that. But if you're following this, the Word of God says that enter in at the straight gate.
Yes.
Because wide is the definitive word.
The path that leads to destruction.
Exactly, but straight, that's not the ordinary way you spell straight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a vigorous gate, and it's difficult. Particularly if you are sort of weak in your understanding. I'm not saying that all those people are weak, but certainly it's an indication to there is a dilemma within their understanding, and maybe they haven't been taught right.
Now, what do you think, should such a bill come up and should it become legal, how do you think it will affect the family structure?
I mean, the family structure in Bermuda is already fragmented. It's like a glass that is broken. You're pouring water into it, but water seems never to fill up because it's cracked. Yeah? And you're not going to get a full glass when you're trying to implement these types of things. It's not going to happen. That glass will always be cracked and it will leak.
You're saying the family structure now is already cracked. What are some factors that are components that have led up to the cracking of the family at this stage?
Not paying attention to what is called the BIBLE, which is, last I checked, was called Basic Instructions Before Leaving this earth. Yeah? I mean, even little children. I watched this little cartoon show called Teletubbies. Have you seen it?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know what you think about it. Let me tell you how I feel about that. Teletubbies. Now, the people that run the industry for communications and television, these people are some strange people. Very strange, if I can say it like that. Teletubbies, the character of the Teletubbies, who are the little boy characters, they're holding purpose. They're holding presses.
Yes.
Come on, presses.
Yeah. Yeah.
So right there, they're infiltrating minds at an early age, and you can't ban a branch that's mature.
I think the television and movie media are somehow trying to desensitize the public to homosexuality and same-sex marriage. But let me ask you, is this discussion around same-sex marriage, is it something that's biblically based or morally based?
Let me say something to you, my brother Richard. I've been married for 32 years. and my 32 years of marriage is based on the morality of marriage, which is instituted and underlined by the spiritual word of God. And God said man and woman. He didn't say man and elephant, man and dog, man and some other type of animal. He had a reason for that, because his most prized possession was the human, was us. You know, he gave us that authority. We were the rulers. Of course, strange things happened after that.
Let me move back to the family and what's been happening to the family today. We have gang violence. Do you think that that's an outgrowth of a family that is broken?
Well, you know, sometimes it takes people 2.5 hours to watch a show called 60 Minutes. Life is moving quick and it's rapid. And so gang violence is coming out of a need and a necessity for these young men to be appreciated, to be recognized. Yeah? Now, some people may say, well, more emphasis is put on the female. Well, you know, females are supposed to be much smarter. James Brown said it's a man's world, but it wouldn't be nothing without a woman or a girl. So I don't buy into the fact that these young men have been led down a road to do destructive things. What I am saying is that from an early age, when young men are left to their own devices, when young men are not paying attention to when the grades are slipping, we have to bear some responsibility on that. The education system, parents, neighborhoods, villages, communities, we have to hold ourselves responsible. Because if you see a young man acting stupid or acting up, then certainly, where is the village? And so we allow these kids to slip between the cracks, and then we wonder why the taxes are going up and why we have to support a $95,000 a year jail bill.
Is there a remedy to the gang violence we're seeing today, or will it just be getting worse and worse and worse?
Well, based upon what I see, I mean, nothing really is getting better. I mean, if you ask me, am I happy? I can say, yeah, because I may have something in my fridge to eat that will make me happy. But what we're missing is joy. And I think we have become so materialistic in Bermuda that I cannot speak to you today because you have chrome wheels on your car and I'm jealous. Yeah? Let me say this to you. And I'm not picking on international business, but I was in a forum or in a dinner. It actually was a dinner, but it was like a forum in New York the other day. And some international business people, they hosted me. And they asked me, what did I feel about international business? And Brother Richard, I told them, I says, you have served Bermuda well. However, if I want to be real, and I want to keep it real, international business has cost or attributed to the cause of our social fabric being sort of fragmented. It really has, because now in a little small community, if you have something that looks good to me because it's eye candy, I need that. But I don't have the education and the means to go out and make that happen for myself. I become jealous. And then I lean more towards doing things that are illegal than I should do if I would have paid attention in school and made my grades come up. I would be doing something a little bit more constructive. You understand? And so international business has led us in an area where we've lost a lot of the contact. Almost everybody back in the day before international business, somebody in a household in Bermuda, in every household, was connected to the hotel industry. But then we went and flirted with some girl that looked good called international business. And what we got was greener grass, but it was astroturf. So if you want to really keep it real, you know, you may have to get me back on there, because I like to say a whole lot of things, but I know we only have 15 minutes and
4 minutes left.
Yeah, 4 minutes, okay. I don't want to manipulate the time here.
Back to, let me come back to one of my last questions on homosexuality and gay marriage. Even though you may be against it, I may be against it, a large segment of the population may be against it, do you see it becoming, somewhere down the line, do you see it becoming a fact in Bermuda? Or will Bermuda divorce themselves from what's happening in the rest of the world?
I don't know. I mean, we seem to lean, talking about government-type people, politicians that make laws and they amend laws and legislation. We seem to be leaning that way, it appears. But let's not just talk about homosexuality. Let's not just talk about, gays and lesbians and freaks. Let's talk about sin itself. Sin. Because if we're not going to address the whole, subject of sin, maybe this is just a little form and we can talk about homosexuality, but the issue of the day is sin. We were born in it, shaped in it, wrapped in it. We are sin. We mess up, we fall down, and we get on our knees and we ask for forgiveness. But sin is sin. I don't hate homosexual. I think some people that I know have those tendencies, but I don't hate them. That's just not something that I like. I mean, you're not going to knock the steak out of my plate. I don't eat it. And I'm not going to let you put a pork chop in mine. I don't indulge in that. That's not my thing. So if you're going one way, then I have to go the other way on this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again, I didn't quite get your answer on that. Do you see homosexuality somewhere down the line? Do you see it becoming a fact in Bermuda?
Shame on those that make that type of law. They're already damned. So I would not like to see it, and I'm not saying that I'm going to prophesy that it will happen, or I'm not a psychic. I don't want it to happen. But Bermuda is on a slippery slope. Yeah.
Mr. Deputy Mayor, you have said a lot this evening. I'm sure that probably tomorrow morning, after people watch this, you may be getting some calls in your office, on your cell phone.
Let me say this to you, right? A lot of people don't like the way I speak. Doesn't bother me. I know the air I breathe, I liken it unto the Spirit of the living God. I cannot run up to your nose, which is kind of shiny and round, and breathe yours. What's yours is yours, and what's mine is mine. I make no regrets. I make no excuse for who I am and what I say. It doesn't really matter to me what you think, Bermuda. You dislike what I say, or you can like it. I'm not really into what you think. This is me, and I have an account that I have to answer to God. And if I say the wrong thing, I may be punished. And I like blessings. I like blessings. I don't really like a curse. Really don't, sir.
We have been listening to Donal Smith, the Deputy Mayor of Hamilton. We asked him what is his position, what his stance on same-sex marriage. He's totally against it. He's totally against it. In fact, and correct me, Mr. Deputy Mayor, if I'm incorrect, you indicated that such people may be damned. Is that the terminology that you used?
For those people who are liking that lifestyle, for those people who had indulged in that, knowing that it goes against the grain of what God instituted from the beginning, from the Genesis, then from what I'm reading, you can go to the book of Leviticus. It tells you about certain things, what you do, what you shouldn't do. And if people just don't think that the Bible is worth anything, well, guess what? I have never seen electricity, but I see lights on here. And if I put my finger into the socket, I'm going to feel it. You don't have to see God. You really don't. But you try to stop breathing air, you will know that God has left you. If you hurt yourself. So, I mean, one way or the other. One way or the other.
Again, we've been speaking with the Deputy Mayor of Hamilton, and we appreciate him being here. We ask you to go to our website, issuesbda.com, go to our comment section, and send us a comment. We look forward to speaking with you next week, and have a good evening.